main themes in Of Mice and Men, which hold great importance in the novel, as they bring to mind the main troubles that the characters face in 1930s America. We will start with the theme of human fragility.
Human fragility. The overriding theme of the novel is that humanity is small and fragile in comparison with the forces that control our lives. Joy is something to be snatched whilst possible, but it's not something that most humans ever achieve for long. There is no real thematic link between the mice in the title and the mice that Lenny likes to stroke. Lenny's mice are used rather as a motif that echoes his vulnerability throughout the novel.
Another frequently asked question is the extent to which Of Mice and Men is a political novel, or a novel of protest. The ranch hands get their $50 a month, plus food and shelter, seem to eat well and have a reasonable boss. To that extent, the novel is not political, nor does it concern itself with how the country is governed. If it protests, it does so against three social and political evils: racial discrimination, the treatment of old age and disability, and the plight of the farm worker who never reaps what he sows. Both Candy and Crooks are workers who will never see the benefits of their labour. Crooks illustrates racial prejudice. He is intelligent, reads books, and like any other human being, he needs warmth and companionship. He is denied these, not through any fault of his own, but because he is black. Yet if there is a theme of racial prejudice here, it is almost a subdivision of a wider theme, that of loneliness.
Loneliness is a major theme in Of Mice and Men. George and Lenny stave off it in their relationship. It embitters Candy and Crooks. It kills Kermit's wife. Steinbeck sees it as a part of the human condition, something we are born with, and something we will fight or succumb to all our lives. Guys like us, that work on ranches, I'm the loneliest guys in the world. Lenny broke in bananas, and why? Because I get you to look after me, and you get me to look after you, and that's why. As with many of the statements in the novel, Steinbeck offers no answers to loneliness, merely a graphic and moving portrayal of the problem. It confirms the impression of him as a writer who observes and brings things to life through the printed world. He is not someone written with a grand game plan for how to change things. Indeed, some of the saddest and emotional power of the novel comes from our realization that things cannot and will not change.
You could argue that the theme of relationships is part of the loneliness theme looked at beforehand. Do you think it is an accident that no relationships in Of Mice and Men seem able to last for any length of time? The obvious relationship is between George and Lenny, and we see that destroyed. But there is also the relationship between Candy and his dog, the proposed partnership between George, Lenny and Candy, and the relationship between Curly and his wife. The happiest people in the novel, Slim, the boss, Carlson, are the ones who do not seem to be in any kind of relationship. Are relationships simply a guarantee of pain to come, and therefore not worth having?
The American Dream. Poor and oppressed people the world over were attracted to America from the time of its discovery. Conditions were hard for the early settlers, but the American dream was of freedom, independence, and owning one's own land. The dream was a real possibility while there was still a frontier of unclaimed land, but by 1900 there was no unsettled land in America, and in reality the dream was over. It still survived in the popular imagination and in literature at least until the 1920s. By then America built its own aristocracy on the basis of wealth and its own system of repression based on race. The final blow was dealt by the Wall Street crash, when the value of shares on the stock market fell dramatically. This marked the start of the Great Depression that swept the world in the 1930s. Farming was as badly affected as any other part of the economy. Decay there was sped up because ignorance and over-farming had resulted in hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland drying up, losing precious topsoil and being turned into the world-famous Dust Bowl. Poor crops meant that many farmers were unable to repay their debts they had taken out to buy their land. Thus the way of life for men such as George, Lenny and Slim was coming to an end when Of Mice and Men was written, pushed by the twin forces of mechanisation and economic recession. George and Lenny's dream of freedom and independence was probably over before they even acquired it. Lenny makes George recite their dream to him at the end of the novel, not realising that George is preparing to shoot him before he is lynched by the pursuing mob. Lenny dies at George's hands, in an act of mercy. The dream they and many other migrant workers shared, we're gonna get a little place, is as doomed as Lenin.
Thank you for watching. We hope this video has been beneficial in your understanding of Mice and Men.
Papa l'americano